I finally got to come back. It's been pretty cold this week in Georgia. It's been too cold out here in the shops for me to be out here. Anyway, I guess I'm getting too old for that kind of stuff. But what I'm wanting to do today is I'm going to get started on this piece of pecan right here. And I'm going to be making a vase out of it. If you can see, it's just slap full of wormholes and everything else. Pecan does that as it lays on the ground for a little while, which I'll do that a lot of times with my wood. I'll let it lay on the ground and kind of spalt or whatever, you know, and then I'll turn it before it starts to rot. But anyway, this pecan was just slap full of worms or whatever. Don't really know what it is, but I think it'll make an interesting looking vase. So that's what we're going to get started on now. I hope you stick around and enjoy the video. Let's get this thing started. Alright, to start out, what I'm looking for is I'm wanting to get this thing mounted in the lathe. I believe what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a face plate on it. Perhaps. I might have to turn it true first. That's a good flat side right there. So I'm going to use a face plate on this. But I need to get her centered. What I'll do a lot of times, I made this little thing. It fits right through my face plate. Pretty good fit. And it's pointed on one end, so if I find my center and I can get me a little divot there, I can put this in there and find my center. So that right there should be pretty close to my center. Just going to screw it down. If I can hold it in place. Always make sure that you use wood screws for this. Don't use the drywall screws, because what happens is those things can break. Alright, well, got my face plate mounted. Just going to get this thing screwed onto my spindle. Okay. Now that'll be a good secure, hopefully a good secure thing. Pull my tailstock up, and I'm just going to let it hit where it hits. Get a little pressure. Alright, I should be good to turn now. I'm not going to try to keep any of this bark. I just want to get me a good nice shape on this, and what I'm looking for is a wide shape at the top, coming down sort of into a conical shape, sort of. And then once I get the top trued up and the bottom trued up, and I get this thing all hollowed out and all, I'm going to add a piece to the top and bottom to accent the piece. May not add it to the bottom. We'll just have to see. Alright, well, I'm about ready to get started here. And this is my grain runs this way, so basically it's going to be more of a spindle turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my roughing gouge. I got my lathe at the slowest speed right now. Okay, I'm just starting to form my tenon to get this thing reverse mounted. So I'm wanting to bring this thing down to around 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 inches, somewhere in there. I've got my caliper set for 1 3/4 inches. It'll be a little big, but that'll be fine. I'm at 1 3/4 inches now. So I'll just go ahead and form up my tenon. Now, I got to make sure that my tenon's not more than 1.5 inches deep either, or more than 1.5 inches, and it's not. It's good. So now my tenon's good to go as far as spinning around. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it spun around so I can start working on this vase. Okay, well now we're reversed around. So I'm just gonna start shaping. This is gonna be the top up here. It's gonna come down. It's going to be kind of wide up here at the top, kind of narrow down here. This right here should be about my 1/3 mark. I can see that. So I kind of want that to be the crest of my vase. It's going to be real wide, kind of wide and fat is the way I want to do this. So I'm just going to probably do most of my work with my 3/8 bowl gouge. Most of my heavy work will be done with it. And you know, don't get it too hot. But all these little holes and everything like that, coupled with the fact it's very hardwood, makes it very chattery. So just take it easy and just kind of go with it, and you know, don't try to get too aggressive. All right, now that she's down to a cylinder and all, I've already started getting prepared for my top cap, which not really sure what it's going to be, but I'll figure that out in a few minutes. But you see all these little places right here, I'm going to end up having to chip that out. That stuff is it's really hard. It's almost like sawdust and glue. Don't know how the bugs do that, but they do. So anyway, I'm just shaping on it. I'm using my 3/8 bowl gouge, and I'm just kind of shaping. This stuff is really hard. A lot of voids and stuff like that to deal with. Your tool chatters a lot. Just take it easy. You may have to sharpen several times too. It's got dirt and all impregnated in it. Well, not several times, but a couple times. It's got a good bit of dirt and all impregnated in it, and it kind of takes a toll on your tools. But I'm just shaping up, you know, to Okay, I'm down now to pretty much the rough shape that I'm looking for. I'm right at about 6 3/4 inches tall, but I am going to add a little bit back to it when I put my top on here. not going to add a bottom. I thought I would, but decided not to. Now I'm just going to start doing some shear scraping and try to smooth up all this area. Speed the lathe up a little. And just do some shear scraping. Okay, now let's see what we've got. See if I've got rid of my tool marks. My curves look good. I'm happy with them. I think they're going to be really nice. Now, I'm going to get started flattening this off so I can get my top cap put on here. I'm just going to try to do that with my parting tool. Kind of stand back a little bit. Now let me move this back out of the way. I just want to flatten this off good. Matter of fact, I'll just hollow this out some. Just a little. Now, as you try to do this, lay your ruler across there. So I'm still high in the middle. So I won't never be able to get that flat if I'm high in the middle. So I'm just going to concave that just a little. I can see my mark. Right here. That'll be the outside of my top cap. So all I really need flat is this area right here. So I'm going to concave the rest of it. Right? Okay, now I can use my ruler and make sure that I'm good and flat, that I'll get a good glue surface, because my ruler's touching good here and here all the way across. So when I put this piece in, it'll sit right there and tighten up and glue down really good and tight. Okay? So I'm going to take a few minutes and decide what I want to put on the top of this thing, and then I'll be back shortly. I'm not going to be able to put it on yet. I'm actually going to sand, take all of this stuff out right here. Let me show you what I've got. Let me back up just a little bit. Okay, I've got all of this stuff right in here, and just it's everywhere. Well, I'm going to dig all of that out, and I'll just do that with my little spindle gouge that I have, and you know, I'll just dig that stuff out just like that, and I'll be back once I get all of that done. I know you don't want to sit and watch that. But I'm just going to dig out all this stuff that looks like sawdust. It's hard, or it's pretty hard, and it takes a good while to do. So I'm gonna do this without the camera. I'll be back shortly. Okay, well, just to kind of show you the process here, because it is a process. I've switched to my pocket knife. It's actually better. This stuff will not blow out with air. You can try it if you want. I've tried it. Maybe your air's better than mine or something, and your compressor may push that stuff out. But all I'm doing is just scrubbing all this stuff out of here. I want all of those holes to really stand out when I finish this piece. But I don't know how this stuff will, if it would tend to stay in or not. So this is what I'm doing. I'm just chipping this stuff out, and it's hard, and you have to scrape it and scrub it and everything else. But it really makes a unique design, because this is nature at its finest doing this. I'm not doing any carving on it. I let Mother Nature do all that. I'm just cleaning it out for her. But anyway, that's what it is. You just chip it out, and see, you just work on it and you clean it all out. And I'll be back once all this is done. Okay. Well, I think I've got it all dug out. Of course, for another 100 years, I could still find some that I'd probably missed. But this is kind of what it's looking like. I've got all that stuff out. Taking me a couple of hours to get it all out. But anyway, that's where we're at now. I'm going to go ahead and start and sand this down, because I believe I'm going to put some coloring on here, like some yellow color, and just kind of brighten everything up a little bit. We'll see how that works out. Hadn't really done that before, but I think it will. There's this place I missed right there. But I'm just going to get to work on sanding it, and we'll see where it goes from there. And all the sanding is I'm going to start with a heavy grit, about 60 grit. I'm just going to let her sand. I'm just going to try to sand it out. You want to make sure that you really get in all these areas real good, and just clean it out. Clean all these little areas real good with sandpaper. And before we go on to the next step, and you're just getting in there real good is all you're doing. You're just cleaning everything out. And also, you need to be sanding with a grain too as you go. That way you don't leave your tool marks and stuff in there. While you're sanding, just go ahead and do it. We'll be back. I'm going to go down to 220. Well, I found too that these little brass brushes that you can get at Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever, they work good to help break some of that stuff out of there. Some of them you can't hardly get with your sandpaper. And just basically you go around it and keep on going. And of course I'll go back again and I'll hit it with 220 one more time. Then I'm going to put my color on it. Then after we get it hollowed, I'm going to put the lid on it, or the top. Alright, that's got them cleaned out pretty good. So anyway, now I'll go back to my 220 and just kind of help it along a little bit. Even on a piece like this, you still want to make sure you go back and sand with the grain. Anytime you sand. Make sure you can see. Alright, now I'm going to start my coloring now. I'm going to get my colors and I'll be right back. Okay, the dye that I'm using, you can get just about anywhere. Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Walmart, whatever. It's a clothing dye. But, and of course it has mixing instructions and things like that, but I'm just going to use it straight. I think I'm going to use it straight. I'm going to have to add some water, I believe. But all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this stuff over the whole piece. Not really trying to change the color. I'm just trying to brighten everything up a little bit. But let me mix this with some water because it's not going to work without it. Alright, well, I've got some mixed up now. I've got it in a little cup. Maybe this will work a little better. I want to get the coloring down inside all the little places. So I'm just kind of dabbing it in, brushing it a little bit and dabbing it. I just want to make sure I get the color all over it and down inside these areas, because I want them to stick out also. Boy, ain't this a mess. No, I didn't like the way that looked. So I'm going back and highlighting all these little areas with black. Because what had happened was the insides of these little places had too bright a yellow in it. It just looked terrible. I didn't like it, so I went back with black inside it. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to re-sand all this off once it gets dry, and hopefully that will get it just the way I want it. I wanted to accent the pieces, but I didn't really want them to be that yellow. So anyway, I'm just going back and redoing all these holes. I'm almost done with that. Then I'll dry it up with my hair dryer, and I'll get started sanding. I may even have to do some more shear scraping to get all this back out of here. Okay, alright, but that's where I'm at right now. Let me see if I've missed any. Yep, this one right there. Boy, I couldn't stand the way that yellow looked inside there. I like the way it looked on the outside, but not the inside. So, well, that's where I'm at now. It looks like I've got them all. Alright, well, I'm going to let that dry. And then I'm going to start sanding it again. Hopefully the sanding will take it off. Hey, I think I'm liking that. Alright, let's see what we got. I like that. I think we're going to be good with this. Alright, so I'm back where I was. I'm going to go ahead and sand it on down to 600 and I'll get ready to hollow.